It wasn't enough for Donald Trump to just give the worst debate performance of his life, or really anyone's life ever last night. He had to double down on the disaster that was last night's debate by entering the spin room. Yes, Donald Trump decided he would go to the spin room after the debate, a place that's usually reserved for surrogates for the given campaigns, but Donald Trump's performance was so poor that he had to go in and defend himself, something he clearly could not do on the debate stage last night, as Kamala Harris ripped into him in every which way and so perfectly again and again and again. And when Donald Trump did so, he was confronted by Kaitlin Collins. But before we get to that, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video and hit that subscribe button, it really goes a long way. Now, Donald Trump did get confronted by Kaitlin Collins as he was leaving the spin room. But before we get to that, I quickly want to show a clip of him walking in and just how out of it and confused he was.
The polls are indicating that we got 90%, 60%, 72%, 71%, and 89%.
Where are you getting these numbers from?
Very good, but beyond the polls, I felt very good. I had a good time doing it. I hate to speak about our country so negatively, but that's what happened. They ruined our country.
This is a man who is clearly unwell. Donald Trump doesn't belong in the White House. Donald Trump belongs in a home. He is out of it. He is confused. He is rambling. He is wandering, both his mind and his body. They don't know where they want to be. Donald Trump has completely lost it, and that debate last night just proved it, and especially in contrast, not only with Kamala Harris's debate performance, but her post-debate performance, which I want to check out for a little bit of contrast before we get to Donald Trump, confronted by Kaitlin Collins and the implosion that happens as a result. But let's check out Kamala Harris first.
Well, you know, but we have a lot of work to do, okay? And tonight, I think, highlighted for the American people what's at stake. I started the debate by talking about it, and it became apparent, I think, throughout that about an hour and a half, that, look, this is very much two different visions for our country. Ours, which is a vision for the future, and his, which is about the past and taking us backward. And as I said on the debate stage, we are not going back. We are not going back. And so we know what we're fighting for.
Just smiling and joyful up on that stage, a little pep in that step, a little bit of dancing, it feels like. And why wouldn't you be joyful after giving just a complete destruction of Donald Trump? Talk about prosecuting the case, the prosecutor. We have been talking about this since Kamala Harris became the nominee, and she showed exactly what we expected, her ability to just rip Donald Trump apart last night. And again, it wasn't just Kamala Harris, a real bad night for Donald Trump when everyone is taking shots at him. And that is exactly what happened when CNN's Kaitlin Collins confronted Donald Trump about a couple of things, and all of his answers to those questions, they weren't great. Let's check it out.
Are worried that, that you took the bait from Kamala Harris tonight. What would you say?
Great debate tonight. This was my best debate. We had a 92% rating in one poll. We had an 86% rating in another. We had 77% in another. We won every one of the polls that came out tonight, and there were quite a few of them.
You were asked if you would veto a national abortion ban, and you did not say yes or no. What is your answer to that?
So all you have to do is check it. It was a perfect answer on abortion, and I've done a great job in that, and I brought our country together. Thank you.
Yes or no? Will you?
A very clearly out of control Trump here, just as he always is, but more so now, rambling about polls that don't exist, saying, oh, we're winning everywhere, all the polls say we won, so big, 93%, whatever that means. I just kept hearing Donald Trump repeat 92, 93%. I don't think he knows what that number means. We certainly don't. But he was also asked about the issue of abortion, which Donald Trump has been either dodging or flip-flopping on for the past 2 weeks, unable to answer because, as we saw last night, he doesn't know where he stands on anything. He is completely out of it. He has completely lost control. But people who do know where they stand are the voters who watched that debate last night. And CNN had a panel of voters, and their responses were so conclusive and give you all the information you need to know about how poor Donald Trump's debate performance was last night. So instead of hearing him ramble about 92, 93%, Let's check out what some real voters had to say.
Who do you think won by show of hands? Former President Trump. Two, I'll give it 4, but tentative. 2 over there. What about Vice President Harris? More hands. For those of you who thought this debate could be determinative, how many of you have made up your minds based on what you saw tonight on stage in Philadelphia? Raise your hands. All right, I want to ask you why. What did you...
Just damning, devastating for Donald Trump's collapsing campaign. I really can't imagine him having had a worse debate than that, and especially because the Kamala Harris campaign is now asking, and they did right away, asking for a second debate, because why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they want Donald Trump to have to get back up on that stage again, or have to bow out, have to be so scared, so afraid to be humiliated again that he won't show up for the debate? Absolutely devastating. And this night wasn't just bad for Donald Trump, it was also bad for J.D. Vance, who was called out by Kaitlin Collins as well for a lie that he is pushing. But let's check that out.
Question. The other thing that he brought up, which I was kind of surprised by, I guess I would say, is he brought up this misleading false claim that you yourself have talked about in recent days about Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, abducting people's pets and eating them, which officials there have said is not true. You yourself acknowledged it may be false on Twitter. You still told people to keep spreading it. But Trump just amplified it to tens of millions of people who were watching. Why push something that's not true?
Well, first of all, city officials have not said it's not true. They've said they don't have all the evidence.
They said they have no evidence.
We've heard from a number of constituents on the ground, Kaitlin, who both firsthand and secondhand reports saying this stuff is happening. So they very clearly, meaning the people on the ground dealing with this, think that it is happening. And I think that it's important for journalists to actually get on the ground and uncover this stuff for themselves when you have a lot of people saying, my pets are being abducted, or geese at the city pond are being abducted and slaughtered right in front of us. This is crazy stuff. And again, whether those exact rumors turn out to be mostly true, somewhat true, whatever the case may be, Kaitlin, this town has been ravaged by 20,000 migrants coming in. Healthcare costs are up. Housing costs are up. Communicable diseases like HIV and TB have skyrocketed in this small Ohio town. This is what Kamala Harris's border policies have done. And I think it's interesting, Kaitlin, that the media didn't care about the carnage wrought by these policies until we turned it into a meme about cats. And that speaks to the media's failure to care about what's going on in these communities. If we have to meme about it to get the media to care, we're going to keep on doing it because the media should care about what's going on.
I saw you say that. I think the media does care about it. I just read a very lengthy report in the New York Times on it. PBS NewsHour did a whole story on it. But can I ask?
Trump can't answer questions. J.D. Vance can't answer questions. It's just a bad night for the Trump campaign all around. But at least for Vance, he can't answer the questions because he's a liar. Not that that's a positive trait, or we commend J.D. Vance on how disingenuous he is, but Donald Trump can't answer questions because he's clearly just out of it. He has lost control in a really clear way, so much so, and this is going to surprise you as much as it surprised me, and it's why I wanted to bring it to y'all. The mainstream media, CNN, they're finally talking about Donald Trump's cognitive decline. It's only taken months, years, really, for them to start addressing this issue. But Donald Trump's clear cognitive decline was called out last night following the debate right here.
I was struck recently in the last couple of weeks just watching Trump in his normal campaign world, on the stump, in interviews, and he is progressively slowing down. He's progressively not able to really even make his own normal kind of cases that he would make about all sorts of issues, and that was on display tonight.
I posted this last night following the debate, and if you want to check out my social medias, the handle is always at JD Cocchiarella, my last name, where you can find me on Twitter or you can find me on Instagram. But I posted on Twitter, of course it's true that if you vote for Donald Trump, which I don't think anyone who's tuning in is, because we're sane people, but if you vote for Donald Trump, you're clearly un-American. It's an unpatriotic act to vote for an insurrectionist. But you also are, and I don't like to use this word, but you're just dumb. Really? That guy that we saw at the debate He doesn't know a thing. Never has. Clearly doesn't now. More so than ever. In complete cognitive decline. Rambling about tariffs and Hannibal Lecter and windmills and dogs and cats now have been added to the list. How could you vote for this guy when on the other side of that debate stage, we saw a clear vision for the future from Kamala Harris, one that we're going to continue to talk about on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button if you haven't already and leave a like on this video. Drop a blue heart in the comments if you stuck around to the end. And until next time, I'll see you soon.